Are you getting what you want? No? Okay.
Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Hanging out the passenger side of his best friend's ride, trying to holler at me.
Hello A-listers, and welcome back to a new video. So I've teamed up with my friends over at West Kiss Hair. Thank you so much, West Kiss Hair, for sending me one of the best wigs I feel like I've ever tried. And this isn't one of those like, oh, hair companies only send their best wigs to YouTubers, because I actually bought my manager this exact same wig just as a thank you for being such an amazing manager. And it literally looks the same on her. Like, it looks so good. This lace is amazing. This hair is amazing. I'll have all the specifications in the description box down below. So this is a life update. Get ready with me. Sponsored by West Kiss Hair. Again, thank you so much for partnering with me. I honestly want to go on their website and buy like maybe one or two more of their wigs. But I got my hair done before I filmed this Get Ready With Me. So what we're going to do is go to my hair appointment and get my hair done. And then I'm going to update you guys on what's going on with my life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into my hairstylist, Adriana, at Adriana Hair. She'll be linked in the description box down below. Let's go ahead and jump right into her installing this West Kiss Hair for me. So again, this is West Kiss Hair. This is their Skin Melt HD Lace Wig. It's 26 inches. This, oh my gosh, it's an amazing, amazing, amazing wig. So what I love about my hairstylist, Adriana, I have two hairstylists, TJ and Adriana. They're both located in Dallas, and usually I'll just go to one hairstylist if the other one is busy or out of town or booked. But Adriana's technique specifically is to not just pluck the lace, but to pluck the lace and cut the lace according to the shape of my hairline. It's not 100% like exact, but it does mimic the shape of my hairline just a little bit more than that just straight across look. What I personally noticed about this unit from West Kiss Hair was the fact that it was so easy for Adriana to bleach these knots. They bleached beautifully. You can even see in the footage where she's plucking that literally looks like my scalp, and that is the lace. Like, that is the lace that's looking like scalp. And then she goes in and like makes a part and plucks like so that it will mimic my hairline, and then once it's where it needs to be, then she'll take the scissors and she'll cut the excess lace off. I mean, not the scissors, I'm sorry. She'll take a razor blade and like trim the excess lace off. So it follows the shape of my hairline and looks even more natural and melts even more flawlessly. I would also like to mention that this unit is glued down. I do switch between having my units glued down and having them glueless, but you can honestly wear these wigs either way. I personally like to, no matter how my stylist installs it, when I take it down, I personally like to wear it glueless. It's easiest for me to just spray it down and then I can remove it, and have videos showing how I do that. But this unit in particular was glued down just because I love the way that Adriana glues down my units. TJ too, you know, they're both amazing at glueless, but when they glue it down, it just like lays so flat and like it just looks so seamless. So I believe she's Bold Hold Active to glue the unit down. So she's putting a little bit of makeup on the lace, but I'm telling you, like, this lace is some of the best lace I feel like I've ever tried. This HD Skin Melt. Listen, West Kiss has some of the best lace on the market. So we're just gonna do like a deep side part, but not too deep, because while this is 13 by 6, it's not deep enough to do like a down the street and around the corner part, which is fine by me because this turned out like beautiful either way. So in addition to the lace on this wig being absolutely flawless, I also noticed that the hair was super amazing. It's so soft, but it's really manageable and it holds curls. I cannot tell you how many times I have tried like different wigs and I've tried different companies, and I just haven't been able to find like hair or unit that holds a curl. This hair, listen, that density being 180%, they also have 200%, I believe 250%. This hair has managed to be like super thick, but also super soft, super manageable, and easy to style. So at this point, what Adriana does is hands me these like strips. She adds the foam, the Nairobi styling mousse, to my hair. The pieces that I'm holding are going to be my baby hairs. You could honestly wear this unit without any baby hairs at all. And I want to actually go back on the website and get a couple more West Kiss hair units. So I personally will volunteer as tribute to try out their units without any baby hairs. Adriana has been begging me to do a no baby hair style anyway, so we can definitely make that happen. But I wanted baby hairs for this style in particular because it's just gonna, listen, it all comes together. It looks amazing, trust me. But what she does is adds the foam, and then she adds 2 of these strips before she goes in and cuts the baby hair, because that's going to make sure the lace lays down really well, in addition to kind of making sure the baby hairs kind of know where they're gonna land without being cut and styled and things like that. So she's gonna style my hair while the lace just kind of like marinates underneath the strips. That's the only word I can explain, is marinates. But you can see just like how thick and luscious and voluminous this hair is. And all she's doing is blow drying it. What she's going to do is add some curls using the curling iron. But y'all, this hair is, I could go on and on and on. I could. It's amazing. Like I said, it's super soft, manageable. It holds a curl. It's easy to style. And this wasn't even just like a one-time thing. You know how sometimes you can go to your hairstylist and for some reason they know how to style it perfectly? No, when I got home, this hair, like I wore this unit glued down, this install right here. I wore this for like a week and a half. I wore it for a very long time because it was just that easy. So she's just cutting the strips off after my hair had been styled. My camera started dying at this point, so I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna show you how she like cut the baby hair, and then all she did was like use the edge brush to add the swoopy swoops. But y'all, take a very close look at this lace. It literally looks like my scalp. West Kiss hair, you have honestly outdone yourself. I'm going to the website and I'm about to get some more.
Tap it down. Oh,
I know, she's so cute.
you know,
So cute. Okay, so now that you see how my West Kiss unit was installed, let's go ahead and hop into the life update. So I have some questions here. This is going to be an update and get ready with me. Per usual, the number 1 question is about my dating life. I feel like, because I just celebrated a birthday, April 15th, that's like 28. I feel like as I get older, I mean, I'm not really a big like relationship girl as it is, and I think you guys have maybe seen me, if you've been like watching my channel for a while now, I think you've maybe seen me in 3 relationships, maybe 4, maybe. Like I was saying, I feel like the older I get, the more I kind of just like to keep that kind of stuff to myself. Like, let's be candid and honest here, girl. Nobody likes to deal with embarrassment, okay? Like, sometimes the people you date can really embarrass you. So you really don't want to sign up for that, you know? Because it's one of those things. I was like talking to a friend of mine. They were saying like, I hate when I'm introduced to somebody that somebody else is dating, like by way of social media, because when they break up, I'm invested. Or if they break up, you know, I'm invested. I want to know what happened. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I hate that feeling. Like I hate that. So what I will say is, I said I wasn't going to date, said I wasn't really interested in it. I'm not really sure when I said that, but I know I said that. And I did meet someone. It was kind of on accident. So yeah, that was, it was one of those like surprise things that I guess neither one of us really saw coming. Dang it, I just got makeup on my new short set. I just got this short set from Pretty Little Thing, y'all. Oh, and I just got makeup on it. Dang it. Well, anyways, we met each other on accident. Like, it was a total surprise for both of us. Totally unexpected. And we went out on a date and we just haven't like stopped dating since. So things have been going really well. I'm really happy with what we're doing and where we're at. So I'll say that. So yeah, like, you just never know what'll happen. I guess, like, don't close yourself off. It feels really good to be dating somebody that, like, makes me feel wanted, and I, you know, experience the reassurance that, you know, we feel like we all need, and my love languages are being honored. And with all of that being said, it's so easy to, like, reciprocate that. So yeah, there's that. I just don't, you know, the older I get, the more I realize, like, you gotta have some type of personal life, you know? And I completely understand people, like, saying to themselves, or even to me, because, you know, a lot of times people say whatever they think to me. They'll say things like, oh, well, if you're gonna be so private and closed off, then why don't you just, like, get off social media and, like, stop being an influencer? But it's just like myself, who didn't display boundaries, healthy boundaries at first, setting boundaries now, how that can kind of not be like what am I trying to say? How that can, like, not feel the best, because it's like, well, you were open at one point and then now, like, you've gone to therapy and you've matured and now you're not open, and now it's, like, not fun anymore because we can't make fun of you for your trauma, and we can't, like, be invested and get the tea and all that stuff. Like, we have to, like, really snoop or, like, make things up, or just, like, I don't know. I really don't know I don't know the wiser at this point. I found so much peace in creating boundaries and just, like, sticking to them, like, holding firm, just because, like, I don't think that everybody is a weirdo. I don't think everybody is, like, a stalker. I don't think everybody has ill intentions or bad juju or evil eye, or, you know what I'm saying? But I will say, the older I get, the more I realize, like, you just have to, like, protect what you feel is, like, sacred to you. And everybody does that. I mean, hell, even Beyonce does that. So that's that on that. I feel like I just jumped right in and didn't even preface this by saying I'm showing you, like, my go-to soft glam. Some things have changed. I do have another soft glam tutorial up on my channel, but yeah, some things have changed, so that's what I'm showing you, and I'll have all the products down below. Somebody else asked, how is dating in Dallas? And what I will say is that, like, it can be a little difficult. First of all, your dating life is really, like, I have to be honest, your dating life is really a product of the environments you place yourself in. There are certain places that you can go, excuse me, where you can have, like, a really fruitful dating life, because the people that are in those spaces, that occupy those spaces, are just different, you know? Their mindset is just different. So you want to go places where you feel like like-minded people would be. But if you do go places where, like, you're just, like, out with friends, like, celebrating somebody's birthday or whatever, it depends on where you go. I wouldn't read too much into, like, oh, I'm at this certain place, I want to meet, you know, this specific type of person. Because while it's likely you can meet anybody anywhere, really, I don't think you should, like, get your hopes up that you're going to meet some, like, spectacular, life-changing person at a place in Dallas. If you're from Dallas, you know what I'm talking about. At a place like Clutch or, like, Stir, like Deck on Dragon. It's possible, but I don't really think it's, like, to be expected, you know? So dating in Dallas, I think it's all a matter of where you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want a little bit more of a serious dating life, I'd personally recommend going to like places in Frisco, places in Legacy West, places in Plano. There are plenty of places to go in Dallas, like the Virgin Hotel or the Statler, or like upscale restaurants like Nobu or True Lux or Moxie's, you know, things like that. Like, look up those types of restaurants and then look up restaurants that are similar to that. That'll kind of help you kind of gauge what direction you should be going in. But yeah, I feel like the environments that I'd place myself in terms of dating prior to obviously, I feel like I was just surrounded by people that just like weren't serious, you know, people that didn't want a relationship, but people that wanted access to you to kind of figure out what they wanted to do with you. So it's like they don't want a relationship, but then they also like don't want to be blocked, but they don't want to like make any, they don't want to plan any dates, like they don't want to make any definite plans, like they don't want to do anything but just kind of like talk to you every now and then. Like, they're really bad at like being friends. They're really bad at being your friend. So yeah, they'll talk to you every now and then y'all will hang out. That was my experience with dating in Dallas. Like, nobody was just like serious. That's what I was gauging. Nobody was like really intentional. They didn't really want a relationship. They didn't really want anything, really. Let's just call a spade a spade. The men just really struck me as like not wanting anything. No titles, just vibes. They didn't want to say they were dating you. Like, they just didn't want anything. They just wanted access. So that was my experience. I think you just have to be really intentional with what you want in your dating life, and anything that's not that, you need to like separate yourself immediately. All these questions like, I don't really know what's going on, if this is something I should cut off, da 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 da. Are you getting what you want? No? Okay. That's just kind of the risk you take when you enter the dating space, you know? Everybody, I guess, is just trying to get what they want, but if you're not getting what you want, but somebody else is getting what they want from you, then how does that benefit you? You know, another really important thing, now that I'm back, I've washed my sponges. Another really important thing I feel like I've learned is my dating style. Now personally, I stay far away from like dating apps. I stay far away from stuff like that. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. It's just one of those been there, done that, got the t-shirt type of things. I don't think that's the best way for me to personally meet people, but I don't frown upon it in general. But what I was saying was, I think it's really important to learn your dating style, and that's something that I really learned when it came to dating. I wouldn't necessarily say I was practicing hypergamy, but this go round of dating, I've definitely learned that I like to spend quality time, how important that is to me. You know how like you'll date a guy and he's like big into his group chat, and he's big into video games, and he's big into his other hobbies, and he's big into hanging out with his friends and his family, and like, I think I've mentioned this before, like, you know, some guys will have like 9 other things on their priority list, and you're literally like priority number 10. But you know, sometimes you'll date somebody and then they will like incorporate you into their plans, incorporate you into their life. Here's a real life example. I dated somebody and they were like, oh, come over, I'm gonna make some food. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I was just like, you know, I don't really like to cook. And they're like, I'll cook for you, no worries. I said, okay, cool. So went over there and they cooked for me. And it was one of those things, like when I got there, they were just kind of like vibing, to the music that they were playing, and it just didn't really seem like it was like a personal thing. It seemed like they were already cooking, and it was one of those things where it was just like, this is something I'm already doing, like, you know, she can come over. And yeah, it didn't really feel like it was well executed, well thought out. It was something significant. It just kind of seemed like we were just two adults eating food. Whereas I dated someone else and they were like, let's make a date out of it. We picked out what we were going to eat, made a grocery list, went to the grocery store, just like learned each other's like grocery shopping like habits and things that we like and things that we don't like. And we were, you know, talking about, you know, are we going to get this with dairy in it, or is it going to be dairy free? Are we going to get this really spicy? You know, like really getting to know each other better. And then we came back and then unpacked all the groceries and like made a date out of cooking together, and then just like ate together and just like talked and then watched like movies and stuff. So it was like, that is so much more intimate than come over, I'm cooking, and then just like listening to whatever music they're listening to and eating with them and not really having a good conversation. Because after he was done cooking, this is the first situation I'm talking about, after he was done cooking, we were having a conversation and then he just like starts playing video games mid conversation. It was the rudest thing I've ever experienced. So, you know, they're just like different dating styles. I think I'm kind of over dating the more nonchalant people who like seek after you, and then when you blink in their direction they just become uninterested. So I don't know. I like to definitely feel wanted when it comes to dating. That leads me to another question somebody else asked. Now that you're 28, are you looking forward to marriage soon or still taking your time? I find that asking this women damn it. I find that asking women this question is a very interesting thing, because I feel like as women, how would we know? That's just not something for us to know. Like, I really don't know the answer to that. However, what I will say is I think we're all smart enough to know how to speak intentionally about things. And for a little while there, like early on when I was just getting kind of started on YouTube and like growing in that sense, I did express interest in marriage. I don't really, now that I'm 28, because I was like, I don't know, 20, 21, 22 maybe, I don't really remember, especially since I've been in therapy for the last couple of years. I just realized how comfortable I am with changing my mind, you know, and admitting when my intentions weren't the purest, or admitting when I was like seeking after something that I didn't really, now that I look back on it, don't really think I wanted, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I kind of feel like all that, you know, talk that I was doing about like wanting to like get married and stuff like that, it wasn't necessarily what I genuinely wanted. I think it was just what I thought I was supposed to do. And I kind of felt like, I definitely felt like marriage is one of those things that kind of made you like God's favorite. Like if you got married, you were one of God's favorites. That's how I was viewing it. And so I was like, okay, well, the way that I can like reassure myself that I'm one of God's favorites is to express that I want to get married, because I feel like if you speak intentionally about that being a desire of yours, then obviously it's bound to happen. But that's not what I really wanted. That's not what I really, really, really wanted in my hearts of hearts. I think what I was seeking after at that time wasn't even like human validation or approval. I think what I was seeking after at that time was just like I wanted to feel like God's validation and approval. That's what I wanted to feel, because I didn't feel like I was feeling it. Getting married would prove that I was validated by God and that I had his approval. And so that was, you know, the way, because I thought that like women who got married were deemed worthy in God's eyes. That's what I really thought. So I was like, if you're a woman and you want to, this is when I was like really deep in the church. I was like, okay, to be a woman who identifies as a Christian, the way that I'll know my worth as a Christian woman who has this desire to get married, because I can't lie and say that I've never like desired to get married, but at that time in particular that I'm speaking of, I was kind of like ODing it. Like I really didn't I really didn't want marriage as much as I wanted like to feel like God was like, you're good. That's all I really wanted. I just wanted to feel like God was saying you're good. And I thought that was the way he was going to do it. So nevertheless, now fast forward to age 28, I, by way of, you know, therapy and just growing up and maturing and really learning about myself, I've come to terms and just been really honest with myself, and I'm so happy and fulfilled now that I'm able to do this. But I can admit that like either way the cookie crumbles, I will be fulfilled and I will be just fine. That's such an amazing feeling. Like every woman that I've seen, at least, that has like very openly stated, I've always wanted to be a wife, I've always wanted to be a mother, they always end up being a wife, and they typically always end up being a mother. But like for me, I had to really come to terms with the fact that like I'm okay either way. And I'm not really maternal. I have to admit that as well. There are very maternal, nurturing women who will say like, I know I'm destined to be a mom. Like I was put on this earth to be a mom. A part of my purpose is to be a mom. And those women always, you know, end up being great mothers. But I personally am self-aware enough and honest enough to admit that I don't necessarily have that same sentiment. And it's not in a bad way. It's not in a F them kids kind of way, but it's in not to get too deep, you know, into my personal life, but I was like raised by my dad, you know, so it's a little different. It's just a little different for me when it comes to feeling maternal. I know for some people, like especially men, I've noticed that there are like quite a few men that if they grew up like without their fathers present, they want to become fathers. You know what I'm saying? To kind of like prove that they can be good enough and that they can show up. But I think that's like more of a male pride, male ego kind of thing. And I'm not somebody who has like that kind of pride and that kind of ego. I err more on the side of being a realist. And realistically speaking, I just know that like somebody like myself who expresses not feeling very maternal is much better off just not bringing a child into this world unless the situation is one that consists of a lot of love and a lot of healing and the breaking of generational curses, a lot of care, and a lot of intention. So, I mean, I will say that's like one of the things that I uphold when it comes to the patriarchy. Like, I don't personally desire to have a child out of wedlock or children out of wedlock just because that would be the way that I would bring a child into this world. It would have to be within the realms of a marriage. That's just like how I personally feel. My desire would be to bring a child into this world with the person who is like just so dope, so loving. I'm so dope, I'm so loving, you know, just like somebody absolutely amazing, and obviously that I'm married to, so that you know, there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of stability there. There's a lot of support there. There's a lot of like intention behind it. So, the question was geared at me because I'm 28. I don't really care about my biological clock. Like, I know it's frowned upon to like have children well into like your late 30s, but I mean, I don't really care. I know that like if that's what's destined for me, it's going to happen, and I know that it's going to be beautiful, like if it does happen. But I also know that I won't feel unfulfilled. I also know that I won't feel like I didn't have a purpose and my life was meaningless. I know I won't feel any of those emotions if none of that happens for me. So I had to really admit to myself that what I claimed I wanted wasn't really what I wanted. I was trying to use that as a way to get approval and validation in the spiritual sense. So once I admitted that to myself, then I was able to admit, you know, how I really felt. So that's definitely something that I unpacked in therapy, and I'm glad I did, because I was really stressing myself out. Because like I said at the beginning, you know, when I was answering the question initially, and when it comes to marriage and kids, I feel like, you know, I mean, kids aside, you can have a kid pretty much whenever you want to, but marriage especially, if you're not dating somebody that you know you're going to get engaged to and you know you're going to marry, then you have no idea when that's going to happen for you. So I would never, especially now that I have my wits about me and I'm just like really going with the flow and chilling, I would never put any type of timestamp on marriage and kids. I would never say like, oh, by 33 I'm gonna, no, because I don't know, girl. Like, I don't know. But I personally really love the fact that I can peacefully express such indifference, because, well, I guess indifference isn't really the word, but it's the lack of better word, because I can't think of anything else to say. But it's just one of those things that, you know, I'm at peace either way. I know, like I said, if it's in the cards for me and it's destined for me, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be healthy, it's going to be amazing. But, you know, if marriage and kids isn't in the cards for me, then my life is still going to be beautiful, healthy, and amazing. And I will be the best rich auntie that my little brother's kids could ever ask for. So that's that. Let's talk about friendships. How did you walk away from friendships that no longer served you and focus on the ones that do? That is a beautiful question, simply because if you watched my birthday vlog, then you know, sorry, I'm putting lotion on right now. If you watch my birthday vlog, then you know that I have some beautiful, healthy, amazing friendships in my life. Not even all my friends were able to make it to my birthday dinner, and that says a lot. I think the original list was maybe like 25. I felt so like loved on my birthday. Yo, what's going on with my eye? Hold on, it'll work itself out. So yeah, like I said, if you watched my birthday vlog, then you saw my friends and how they showed up for me at my birthday dinner. Like I said, it wasn't even all of them, but that was just like, oh, I just felt so loved. I just felt so loved. So when it comes to walking away from friendships that don't serve you, I grew out of, especially with the help of my therapist. Whew, shout out to my therapist. I grew out of being friends with people for the sake of keeping up appearances. I grew out of that at the end of 2017 going into 2018, I believe. That is when I officially put my foot down and said, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm so happy that I like stood up for myself in that way, and that I stopped caring about being friends with people for the sake of appeasing public opinion. But then the most important thing that I learned and I had to realize was that people don't have to be like public enemy number one for you two to no longer be friends anymore. You know what I'm saying? And even if somebody is public enemy number one, who cares? Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you don't have to make a stink about people not being in your life anymore. And I feel like the bigger deal you make it, and if you like try to like throw subs, which I've been guilty of, and I had to outgrow that childish, stupid, petty behavior. It was so unnecessary. Honestly, it's so gross to even think about. But it's like, once you outgrow that, once you stop feeling the need to like prove whatever, tell your side of the story, because who really cares at the end of the day? Like, none of that really matters. Like, if you have come to terms with the fact that like somebody isn't going on the same path as you, or you aren't, vice versa, you aren't going on the same path as them, and you just like want to part ways amicably, then you can just like part ways amicably. Like, you don't have to make a big fuss, you don't have to make a big stink, you don't have to turn them into this villain. And the thing is, you don't even have to turn yourself into this villain. Nobody has to be a villain. That's the thing. That's how you come to terms with it. That's how you make peace with it. Nobody has to be the bad guy. Nobody has to be the villain. You can honestly just like say that you two just outgrew each other. You can honestly say that your paths no longer align. You can honestly say that the memories were great. The friendship itself was great, but it's kind of like not that time anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you have is memories. Let's pause that right there though. These are the AliExpress lashes that I've been wearing. They are from Red Siren, and they are 3D593. That's the style, right? 3D593? Yeah, 3D593. These are some beautiful fluffy lashes. I believe they're 18 millimeter or 20 millimeter. I'm not really sure to be exact, but yes, I love these lashes so freaking much, y'all. I have like, I bought a box. So if you watch my vlog, you saw that I bought like 66 pair of lashes, and most of them are the style 3D 593. And then I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using this lash glue pen. I actually have 3 of these, but one is by Kiss. The other one is by Rude. And basically it's like a liner, but it's lash glue. So you like paint it on like I just did my liner. But it's lash glue, and then you can just like stick your lashes on. So yeah, when it comes to friendships now, because I do believe like a follow-up question that I received from someone else is, am I open to like new friendships? And I would say I'm never not open to new friendships, but it really is all about intention, because I have become so intentional about who's in my life, and like why they're in my life, and like what purpose I serve in their life as well. Because I know after like some not so favorable dating experiences that I've had, and I know after having to walk away from friendships, or having friends walk away from me, because it can happen both ways, honestly. It's just one of those things where like they're just like basic qualities that I want to like experience from the people who have access to me. And one of the like main basic qualities is kindness. I think it is so important. I've learned, you know, after some specific dating situations that I'd experienced, like I learned how important kindness is. Like I think people who just naturally operate from a state of kindness, they're just so much like easier to deal with. It's such a enjoyable experience, whether like there's conflict or not. And usually, depending on how kind people are, you may not even have to deal with conflict. Like I have friends that were like sitting at that dinner for my birthday, and even the ones that some couldn't make it. But like, so many of my friends, I realized I've never had an issue with them. We've never had conflict. Charles, Bree, Tristan, Danielle, Crystal, Taylor, Keita, Dominique. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on. Even the friends that I have like super candidly, super honestly had conflict with. I've had conflict with Kenya. I've had conflict with Devin. And Cindy, but because I know that me and my friends, or my friends and I'm not really sure which one is more grammatically correct. I know that we love each other. I know that we care about each other. And I know that we're able to operate out of kindness. And we care, both of us care more about solving the problem than we care more about being upset with each other. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said that correctly, but like, we would rather solve the problem and move past it instead of spending that time being upset with each other and being mad at each other. And that's what I love about my friendships. And that's how I know the dynamic is healthy. It's the healthiest that it's ever been. I have the health, like, I feel like crying. I love my friends so much. I feel so fulfilled in my friendships and like my relationships, because with everybody in my life, and I mean, I've dealt with I've had some bad experiences recently, you know, but like, because I have such good examples of kindness, such good examples of love, such good examples of conflict resolution, I have such good examples of just like showing up and supporting. I have such good examples of what that looks like and feels like for me. Anytime somebody comes in and they bring me drama, they bring me like toxicity, they bring me feelings of uneasiness, they bring me feelings where they're not sold on me, where they're uncertain about me, they just want access to me, but they don't have good intentions for me. They bring me feelings where I feel like, you know, there's ill will, there's ill intent. I can discern that now. It's so much easier to walk away from situations, and it's really no skin off my back. And I truly don't care anymore about like even beginning to try to explain myself. Like, oh, well, me and this person. No. Honestly, like, and I will distance and separate myself so much faster now. Like, I used to have like such a difficult time with that because I just never wanted to feel like the problem. But it's like, who cares who the problem is? You know what I'm saying? The issue is that there is a problem, and there shouldn't be a problem. Not saying everything is peachy and perfect all the time, but like, I'm saying like your friendships and your relationships, your connections, people who have direct access to you, they should be loving on you. They should be kind to you. They should care about you. They should communicate with you. They should enjoy being around you. Of course, everybody needs their space and everybody needs their breaks and alone time. And I'm not talking about any of that, but I'm talking about at their core, you are somebody that they should care about. And you know when people don't care about you, and you have to get those people out of your life because you have to make room. Like, there has to be room. You know, you can't just say what you desire and then not make room for what it is that you want. Another question I received is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Also got another question, where do you see yourself in 10 years? In 5 years, I think I'll be like, what, 33? I don't really know. I feel like I fly by the seat of my pants, and I think that's a little unconventional for an influencer to do. I think people are more so used to us as influencers having like our lives really planned out and being very good at like manifesting and like working really diligently, working very hard to like bring what we want into our space and into this realm. And I totally get that. I will say that the pandemic kind of put a little bit of fear in me. I'm operating from a state of a little bit of fear simply because there was so much uncertainty during that time, and I do feel like people kind of try to pretend, especially influencers, we kind of try to pretend like that time wasn't as bad as it was. And granted, some people, as problematic as this is, I'm like kind of just like direct quoting them and not really saying that this is true. You know, granted, some people had a great pandemic experience. You know what I'm saying? They came out of the pandemic on the other side as a smarter person, as a more disciplined person, as a more hardworking person, as a more, I don't know, a better person, a more healed person, a more successful person, whatever you accomplish, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could very well be the case for like a lot of people, but then there's this other reality, there's this other side of the spectrum where that was just a really difficult time. But because I'm an influencer, I do feel like I do feel very uncomfortable complaining about it, because when I complain as an influencer, because not everybody cares about my well-being, and because the internet isn't a safe space, it's one of those situations where it's kind of just like, shut up. You know, for lack of a better word, it's like either shut up or quit this, which I never said I wanted to do, so I don't like that being thrown around as an option. Or there's this like insertion of different opinions and different suggestions and different recommendations, and people just completely ignoring me creating a boundary and saying what it is that I want and I don't want, and then just like telling me what they want to tell me anyway. The intention that I set for the year, like, just kind of went out the window, you know? And I feel like quarantine for me was a time where I just felt like I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs a lot, and I was feeling really down because I just didn't feel like I didn't feel like I could make a plan. It wasn't even like I didn't feel like I had a plan. It's just like I couldn't make one, you know, because there was just so much uncertainty. Everything was playing it by ear. Everything was up in the air. Everything was TBA. Everything was just like on pause or on hold or being postponed, being pushed back. Like, that was just a very scary time, specifically like quarantine. Especially because I quarantined by myself. And so I was dealing with a lot of comments from people saying like, oh my gosh, your quarantine content is so boring. And it's just like, I felt so bad that I couldn't be entertaining during a global pandemic, like when 3 million people died last year. Like, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And even now, I feel like I'm a lot more chill and like a lot more reserved. And like, even if I try to go out of my way to kind of like make fetch happen and make my life a little bit more interesting, because I am more of a creature of habit, and I like to go outside, but I like to mostly chill in the house, work out, eat, order food, watch stuff on Netflix, watch stuff on Hulu. So it's not like, you know, I live this super busy life. I feel like it's kind of hard with it being just me to be entertaining and keep the attention, because like not much really happens. So when it comes to like where do I see myself in 5 years, I think for that reason I have to start figuring out how to pivot instead of trying to wreck my brain. Like, I'm sure I can come up with something, but instead of trying to like wreck my brain to figure out like how I'm gonna make my life more interesting, especially because I have no control over things like marriage. I have no control over things like kids, because for me that's attached to marriage. I have no control over like these really big life events. Well, those 2 life events. I have control over like home ownership and like getting a luxury car, which I'll answer in a second. But I don't know, I've never owned a home before, so it's not something that I'm really interested in doing by myself. I don't think that's necessary. I've talked to my dad about it. I've talked to my financial advisor about it. I've talked to my CPA about it, and all 3, and these are very responsible adults in my life, obviously, but all 3 of them were just like, you know. And so I think that just comes with the societal pressure and the pressure because I'm on social media. Like, another question, something along the line. Okay, here it is. I know you are very financially savvy. Have you thought any more about getting a luxury car? And like, the question didn't rub me the wrong way, but it just goes to show like how influencer culture really is about kind of being showboaty, kind of, sort of, you know. I'm not really sure how else to say that, but like at this point, to prove that you're financially savvy, you have to drive a luxury car. At this point, to prove that you're financially savvy, you have to own a home or a townhome or a condo. You have to own something, or a rental property, or a family unit, or whatever. Like, to prove that you're financially savvy, you have to travel to all these places. To prove that you're financially savvy, you have to da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, to me, it's just kind of like, I don't know, like, the where do you see yourself in 5 years is such a loaded question, because I know that you all, especially those who have supported me through like going to college and me being open about dealing with mental health issues such as depression, you guys, and even the people who found me after that, really just want to see the progression of my life. And I can completely understand kind of just feeling like you're waiting around, because usually influencers' lives unfold much faster than I feel like mine has. But like, I had to come to terms with the fact that like nobody can make me feel pressured unless I succumb to it. So where do you see yourself in 5 years is a very loaded question, because it's just like, I don't really like to make, especially after the pandemic, I don't really like to make plans too far in advance, because you just never really know. But on the other end, what I will admit is that I do need to build my confidence back up in manifestation and like speaking what it is that I want, because I do notice that like when I speak very intentionally, what I speak tends to occur. I think for me, like having never purchased a home before and having never driven a luxury car, like, I mean, I drove my dad's car, his BMW, and I think I drove his Mercedes. Yeah, I drove his Mercedes. I felt like I was driving glass. Holy cannoli. But like, I think for me, I've always been, I haven't dreamed really big. I will say that. I will admit that. I haven't dreamed really big. I like to play it very safe. My dad told me from a very young age to live within my means or below my means. He's always been like, live within or below your means. You always want to live within or below your means. And that was sound advice. However, I know my dad didn't anticipate me growing up to become an influencer. So becoming an influencer is very much so like, you get more views with the Tesla, you get more views with the Mercedes, you get more views with the Lexus, you get more views with an Audi, you get more views with the house, you get more views with the townhome, you get more views with the condo, you get more views in Turks and Caicos, you get more views in Bora Bora. Like, this is just the reality. If you want to lie to yourself about it, you can, but we all know that this is the reality. You get more views with luxury purchases, you get more views with luxury bags, luxury perfumes, luxury clothing, luxury shoes. You get more views with a more luxurious lifestyle. You get more views when you are goals. And I think for me, I'm making this assumption, so you can correct me if I am wrong, but I think what I've been feeling and experiencing is on the receiving end, I feel like there are a lot of you that have supported me and now feel like I'm stagnant. And that's why anytime I do a video like this, anytime I do an update, get ready with me, anytime I ask questions, whether it's for YouTube or Instagram, just to, you know, for us to all get more familiar with one another, these same questions come about. Even when I've cleared things up, like the home ownership thing, I've never owned a home. I've only lived in apartments. Even that comes up as like, why did you sell your house? Why did you like not stay in the house that you bought? I never bought a house, but because I'm an influencer, my wording, even though it's clear as day in the description box of multiple videos and pinned in the comment section of multiple videos, that I am not a homeowner, that I've never been a homeowner, and that in the next 5 years, because of my financial advisor specifically and the plans that I have for myself and my finances, I don't really see myself becoming a homeowner. I don't see that for myself. Something could change, you never know, but I don't see it right now. It's just one of those things where it's just like, well, why, you know? Because I think that's become so normalized for us as influencers to be just a little bit more showboaty, for us to be just a little bit more accomplished, so that our life is goals, so that what we have, so that what we have accomplished and attained you know, you all can kind of like set those accomplishments and like want to attain those same things. So I think because there's this feeling of like, oh, you're so stagnant, that's why these questions constantly come up. That's why me just like, you know, focusing on therapy, focusing on brain spotting, focusing on EMDR, focusing on healing, and just focusing on existing, that's why it can kind of bring so many like question marks, because it's just like, you don't want more, you don't want bigger, you don't want, you know, because more and bigger is what influencer culture has become. You know, we stopped focusing as influencers on makeup tutorials for music videos. We stopped focusing as influencers on, you know, how to apply false lashes and foundation routines, and it's focused a lot on lifestyle, but it's also focused on like niche. And I think for me, because I haven't been able to like solidify my niche or niche, how do I pronounce it? I think it's niche, because I haven't been able to solidify my niche and really target what that is. It's not chit chats, it's not crime and wine, it's not get ready with me's, it's not vlogs anymore, from what I can tell from the views. Like, it's not that. It's not mukbangs, like it's not any of those things. So it's just like, because I don't really have a niche, especially, it's just like feeling real repetitive, feeling real stagnant, because I don't, in addition to me not having a niche, I don't have big announcements all the time. I can feel a little bit of that pressure when I get questions like, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What are your travel plans? What are your plans for marriage? What are your plans for children? What are your plans for home ownership? Those 6 questions are like really loaded questions, because like I'm really uncertain, but I feel a lot of pressure as an influencer to be certain until I figure out what I want, and until I start, like I said, diligently working towards it, until I figure out what my niche is and really carve out that lane. I think this stagnant energy is just going to kind of like keep creeping up on me, and that's what questions like that bring out, like that kind of reminder that there's this feeling of like stagnant energy. I don't know if that made any sense, but long story short, when it comes to my 5-year plan, I'm not really certain what is in my 5-year plan, but what I will say is that when it comes to like in therapy, with my financial advisor, with my CPA, with my close friends, with my family, like my parents and stuff, I feel like we are able to have like safe and healthy discussions about where I see myself going and what my next move is, and what it is that I want to do, and what it is that I want to pursue, and how to start that journey. I feel a lot more comfortable and a lot safer discussing those things with people that care about my well-being. Just in general, you really want to discuss any type of uncertainty or problems or complaints, a lot of venting to people that care about your well-being. So when it comes to where I see myself in 5 years, the truth is I really don't know, but I am working to A, figure it out, but then also B, become comfortable again with manifestation, so that I can like really be intentional and be very specific about what it is that I want. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Okay, A-listers, that is it. Hopefully you all enjoyed this life update. Get ready with me. Hopefully you learned something new about me, or I answered one of your questions. If that is the case, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and also tell me, now that we're caught up to speed on what's going on, tell me what videos you would like to see from me. I kind of feel like the vlogs, I'm not really sure what you guys want in the vlogs. I'm trying to like give you exactly what you want within reason. Hopefully you were able to follow along with my new soft glam makeup technique. I'm still perfecting it. I say that all the time, but I really am, because I'm a makeup enthusiast and not a makeup artist. If you would like more Get Ready With Me's like this video, let me know by giving me a big thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section down below like what other topics you would like me to talk about. I think that's pretty much is it. Thank you so much to my friends over at West Kiss Hair again for sponsoring this video and partnering with me and sending me one of the most amazing / laid wigs I've ever experienced. What a joy it is to have this wig on my head. I'm telling you, you need it. I know I talk a lot about hair, but baby, you need this, okay? Okay, girl, I will see you next time. And until then, stay beautiful. I love you. Goodbye.